Hi and welcome back. So there's been a few people asking questions about how to use Chronometer, so I thought I'd put together a series of videos on how to use Chronometer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break the videos down to small chunks about particular subjects, so it's easier for people to find the specific piece of information they want. So I'll start with how I'm setting up the account to start with. So what I have is I have a gold membership, but I've also set up another account with a normal membership, so we can make comparisons between what's in the gold membership and what's in the standard membership. So, and sometimes I forget what's in either one, so this will also be helpful for me. Okay, so at the moment what I've done is I've registered for a gold membership. I registered for a standard membership. And now it's asking me to fill out some specific details. So I won't bother about showing you how to create an account, because creating an account in the website is pretty much the same as creating an account in any website. So once you create the account and you verified your account from the email that Cronometer sends you, it'll send you a link with a hash on it. You click on that link or you paste that into your browser and then it launches it up, and then you get to basically to this screen that we're seeing now. So it's asking whether a male, female. It needs this information to set some nutritional targets. Now, this isn't the be-all and end-all of the nutritional targets. This is just the sort of preliminary setup. So a lot of people will be asking, how do I set up 80-10-10 in Cronometer, or how do I do this in Cronometer? I'm going to show you how to do that later on. But first of all, let's just set up the basic account information. So I'm a male, and I suspect I'm a normal male, whatever that means. Okay, I am about 5'11"-ish, which would be 180, which is pretty much right. My birthday is July 1959, and I am, last time I checked, I was 77 kilos. Now, the thing about that is the scales that I use also connecting with Chronometer, so therefore I have a Y-thing scale, and so when I get in the morning and I weigh myself, that data ends up in Chronometer for me. I don't have to manually enter that in. But if my scale wasn't working with Chronometer, then I could manually enter that information in. So that's basically it. So now I have my targets in there, and I will reset that. Now you'll notice that you can customize it under your profile tab. Okay, so let's set those targets, and here we are now in Chronometer. It gives us the basic information on what we can do. Worthwhile reading all this information about the diary, the trends, the food, the profile. Okay, but let's just start using it. Okay, so here we are in Chronometer, and the big difference between the gold version and the standard version is the ads. Okay, you're just going to see ads in the standard version because it's supported by ads. When you're in the gold version, you don't get the ads. That's the first thing that you're going to see. So it may not necessarily worry you. Having ads or not makes no difference. Okay, so the other thing that you'll see here is that you just have one list here for adding food. And so up here we have add food, we have add exercise, we have add biometric information, and add a note. Down here we have this will be where the summary of the food that we've eaten during the day will occur, including, and here it will be this will be our summary of the information of what we've done. This is new by the looks of it. I haven't seen this before. And here you got a pie chart that shows you the carbohydrates, your fat, and your protein intake. So it'll give you a percentage. So therefore, if you're 80-10-10, it'll show you, it'll give it to you in a balance there. Energy, protein, carbs, what you're doing the day, and then of course your vitamins. Now all this is customizable. Okay, and including what goes on here. So here we have a list of items that go. This is the food items and metrics that you put in during the day. They go in there. Now this can be broken up, and you'll notice that each one of these areas has a little cog next to it. Okay, that basically means that we can set it up. So if we were to click here, we will be able to sort of say, okay, we can create and edit diary groups. So what we can do here is we can sort of say, okay, we have an uncategorized, we have a lunch, dinner, a snack, okay, and we can say miscellaneous, and we can do what we want, and we can go okay, and okay, now this is only available to our Chronometer people. Okay, so just letting you know is that in Chronometer, and I'll just set that up now, right now. Get up. Let's go straight into Chronometer. This is the gold version of Chronometer. Eventually. Okay, here we are in Chronometer. This is new, I haven't seen this before, so we'll check that out in a minute. So if as you can see here, I've set up breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and you can't do that in the standard version. Okay, so here's the standard version, here's the gold version. So on the right is the gold version, on the left is the standard version. So here I can set up my categories of food. So when I'm adding food, I can sort of say this is for breakfast, this is for lunch, this is the dinner, and I can create, you know, brunch or whatever sort of granular detail that I want to be able to put my food into. Okay, so so here it's a gold feature. So if I wanted to be able to have that feature, I would need to go for the gold. Okay, so and here I get a chart of what my daily intake will be. I just pop that away for a moment. Go back here. So here is my chart of information. So as it tracks along, I'll get a graph here, and it'll show me my carbs, my protein, and my lipids that I've been consuming over time in a line graph, or in a line area graph. Okay, so just going across the top here, we have our diary trends. So this will give us a chart of how we're trending over time. Okay, so the charts look a little bit like this. Here's the actually, I might just throw these two together, make it a little easier. Oh, because they're not two different programs. Okay, so if I go trends, I can sort of see trends. So this is my weight tracking over a period of time. I can sort of say, okay, what is my fasting blood glucose level over time? I'm jumping around, and I have three areas. So basically, this is my calories consumed. So this is how this chart, bear with me a minute, this chart here that you see here will look. Okay, it'll look something like that. Okay, and here I have a choice of all the things, so all the metrics that I put in here, and these are custom metrics that I put in myself. Okay, so to get these custom metrics in there, I believe you need to be able to have the gold version. So if I were to go in here and I was sort of say I want to, well, I can't if I go here and I go, okay, it's only available to gold members. Okay, so to be able to add so there's fasting blood glucose level here. There should be, I think there is, if I remember rightly. There's glucose. So there's glucose level. Okay, just a general glucose level. But if I want to have fasting glucose, I'd have to add that myself. So all these items I've added. So fasting glucose, post exercise, 2 hours, post lunch, post dinner, etc., etc. Okay. So they're all ones that I've added, and you can add whatever you want, whatever metric that you want to manage or look at over time. You can add your own in the gold version. In the standard version, you can't do that. Okay, so if I want to add a food, I can go and add a food, and I can sort of say, okay, let's add some bananas. Okay, and it shows me the bananas. Okay, so USDA is the best data to go for, because that's the one that has the most available information. So I've got to say bananas, and then it's going to ask me what quantity of bananas I've eaten. I like to set it at grams. You might want to do it as ounces. The thing here is that if you use these other ones and that, they become a little bit sort of more generalised and a bit harder to determine. I mean, extra large banana, 9 inches or longer. I mean, you're better off. The way I do it is I'll weigh the food after the skin has been taken off. If the skin stays on, I just weigh it as is. So therefore, I know exactly what I'm getting. So with a banana, like I might sort of say, I'm going to consume 500 grams of bananas, and I can add that serving. If I want to actually have a look at there's my sort of calorie breakdown. Okay, in here, if I were to go into the gold version, and I would say bananas, it's already stored the information for me. And if I said 500 grams of bananas, I get the information there. I can add that. It's again the same thing. Add the serving. Again here, add the serving. And there it is there. Now I can move that around to a different category in the gold version. Let's say if I wanted that to be my breakfast, but here it's showing me what I've got. Okay, so it's this is all quite new. It's all looking quite good now. So it's telling me what my nutritional breakdown is for the bananas. What what it is going in here. Now this is set for 80-10-10. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this up for 80-10-10 as well, because you'll notice that that the numbers will read a little bit different depending upon what my ratios, or what ratios I'm after. Okay, so for instance, you can see here the carbs, the blue line here for carbs is much lower, whereas here it's like 88%, whereas here it's saying it's only 33%. That's because this is 80-10-10, and this is set, I think, mostly for a very generic amount. So what I can do is I can go into profile, and I can do it here. Okay, this has got no macronutrient ratios, and I can sort of say it's low fat, raw vegan, 30 bananas a day. So that's actually what I want to do, the 80-10-10. So if I set that, then that's it. And I can also, if I want to sort of say, oh, I can't do that there, but if I wanted to, I mean, there's paleo, obviously, if you're doing paleo, you know, if you really want to. Anyhow, so that's 80-10-10, 8-10-10. And then you can also do other things here, is just while we're just in this area. For instance, you might want to, in the vitamins, you might want to know how much chlorine you're consuming. So you might want to add that, because chlorine won't naturally come up. So the ones that are ticked are obviously going to show up in your summary page, but the ones that aren't, so if you want to be able to get, you know, I don't know, the different beta carotene to be showing up, you'd tick that to show that beta carotene should tick up, or the chlorine. Okay, chlorine is actually, there's a video by Andrew Perlott on chlorine. It's really worthwhile looking at. Okay, so and then of course, if you're having any items like Y things, so this is my scale, I have that connected up, so it collects my data, and I would, if I had that, I would just go through the authentication process, and that would then connect up with Chronometer, and if I want to share it with friends, I can do that there. Okay, so once I'm done, it's all looking good. Data control, it's all looking good. Yeah, okay, no worries. Okay, so that should be right. I'm expecting to see a save button, but there is no save button. Okay, so that must be right then. So now if I go in here, I should see something like the chlorine is there. Okay, and there is my beta carotene as well, so I can see. Now it says no target because we're not setting a target for beta carotene, so it'll just show you a number. But if you want to track those values, you can. If you want to set a target, you can as well. You can't. I don't think you can do that in the standard version, but you should be able to do that in the gold version. Okay, so so now what we've done is we've set up the account, we've set up our basic metric information, we've set it up for 30 bananas a day, aka 80-10-10. And just sort of end in some data. So if I wanted to add, let's say, a biometric, I could add, for instance, I could add, sorry, if I wanted to add an exercise, I can come in here and I can add some exercises. The exercises are a little bit limited. Okay, so what I do is I might sort of say, okay, I've gone for a run, and since I have a heart rate monitor, I know what calories I'm burning. So what I'll do is I'll tweak the minutes to mirror how many calories I've burnt according to my heart rate monitor. So so that's what I'll do. I won't do it by time. I'll do it by calories. Okay, and then I'll sort of add that exercise, and then that exercise will come up, and of course it'll start reflecting in the in my data here. Okay, and so forth and so on. These new charts and that are really quite useful. They look good. Okay, fiber, iron, calcium, vitamin A, vitamin C, B12, folate. Interesting. So we can set those up, obviously. We can set those to change what we want to track, which is good. Okay, so we can change what we're seeing there. Obviously, there's only a certain number of slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots. But we can change what we want to see in those 7 slots. So in any one of those, we can change what we want. The same thing goes here. We can sort of start tracking various things, so we get a summary up front without having to dig back in here in trends and that. So it's all good. So that's basically it. Setting up the account and adding your data and making sure that you're sitting on 80-10-10. Otherwise, the data that you're seeing on the screen is going to be a little bit misleading. Okay, so that's it for me, and I'll catch up with you next video. Take care. Bye.